2 seconds. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the, I don't know what day it is today, Jasmine, but I want to introduce everybody to Marc Stein from Links Residential, powered by EXP, which we're going to talk about. We love the EXP model. And welcome, Marc, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I think it's Wednesday today, so just so you know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. I was going to say the date. I think it's the 21st, right?
It is the 21st.
So for me, it's like a race to get to the warm weather because I'm like a warm weather guy. So April, I just want to bypass completely.
I agree.
April showers bring May flowers, so that's coming.
Now let's enjoy it.
So before we even get into any of the stuff with Marc, we missed our podcast last week. I wanted to tell you guys I was at my coaching program that I partake in called the Multiple Club. And it's all about, and I think we're going to talk about this, Marc, it's all about how to make yourself a better person in your marriage, with your body, with your spirituality, and then that makes you a better business person. So I go out quarterly. These guys, a lot of them are from California. I go out quarterly. They fly us into Vegas, and we don't know. They're like, hey, 5:30 on Monday morning, meet at the Vans. So we don't know whether we're going to get dropped in the desert and, have to like survive or whatever. But we ended up at this 48-acre gun rifle range in Utah.
Wow.
And the organization that owns it is one of the largest human trafficking organizations that go in and save people. And these guys are like, automatic rifles. And so that's what I was doing last week. And, then after that, we work on, mindfulness, how to be better business people, how to help more people in society. So I think that's going to parlay into what we talk about in the future. But I just wanted to explain to everybody that's where I was last week. And it was really cool because I think the California, Utah, Arizona guys that I'm part of this club with are really cool people. Like they just do things differently out on the West Coast,
There's a different temperament with you deal with people on the West Coast. They're all like laid back, relaxed. It's different.
Yeah.
Like we're from New York, New Jersey area here. Everything's hustle, hustle, hustle.
Yeah, we're crazy people. So
We're
we had this subconscious mind coach.
Mm-hmm.
Blew me away, because
Amazing.
you think about some of the things you do, not to get too floofy, but you think about some of the things you do, the subconscious mind is 95% of our thought process. Right? So if we parlay that into like real estate, or you parlay that into the patterns that people follow in their life, which is what I teach at the seminars, it's like, of course I put money in a 401k. Of course I put money in a 520. Subconsciously, they just kind of follow like a sheep or a cattle. Mm-hmm. And then they wake up and they're 50, 60 years old and like, oh, I'm screwed for retirement. So anyway, we're going to talk about that later. Let's back up. I want to talk about you. I get so excited to talk about the velocity money stuff. Sometimes I keep going. 20 years in the business. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate, why you got started. By the way, guys, everybody I have on because they're players. I have on because they're successful. They do right by their clients. I don't, what is it? 95% of the realtors do very little and maybe 5% do all the business. Obviously, Marc's in the top 1% in his field, and that's why he's here. So we want to learn about you and what you've done and what makes you successful.
So yeah, I started in real estate really by accident, or actually really say because of my mother. Why I was in high school and college, I was working on a bunch of, let's call them small businesses, different ideas, chasing after dreams of, creating something new. And my mother, as much as she encouraged me, she also was like, well, why don't you have your real estate license to fall back on, just in case all your other crazy ideas don't work out. So I was like, yeah, okay. So I was in college, I got my real estate license and I kind of did it part-time. I got, I hung my license with the local family brokerage because 20 years ago, that's how business was. You have a local, town brokerage that everyone goes to and uses. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the biggest and best and do that. So I got my real estate license, and the first 3 years I kind of like, here and there did a couple deals, didn't really, know what I was doing yet. While I was chasing my, ideas of opening restaurants and creating new businesses. Some of them were successful, some weren't. But at some point when I graduated, or as I was graduating college, I went to go work in corporate America for 6 months. And it only lasted 6 months because after 6 months, I was like, this is not for me. I did not want to be, traveling to the city at, 7, 8 in the morning, working, 12, 15-hour days for someone else, coming back and then working on my project. So I decided to get into real estate full time. I gave it my all. And my first full year giving my all, I think I closed like 18 or 19 deals. And I was a 21, 22-year-old kid. And, I wasn't polished. I didn't know really what I was doing. It was not a hard business at that time, but there was a lot of work that went into it. And I kind of just fell in love with it. And within that year of me closing, along with a couple friends, we bought a multifamily house. We ended up buying a second one. I ended up understanding how real estate investment works. I understand how sales work. A lot of it was psychology. A lot of it was just, explaining to people the process, being available for communication. Back then, it was, beepers and text messaging still. Like, we all think that like the cell phone has been here forever. But honestly, 20 years ago, I was getting beeped like, my clients want to talk to me, or I was the first one to have a BlackBerry in my office and I had to get my email hooked up to it. Like those were the days. So I kind of just fell in love with it. And just from there, it kind of took off. And every year it just grew and grew and grew until it got to the point where it didn't make sense for me to stay in a small family brokerage. I wanted more than what they were able to offer me. Yeah. So I ended up exploring offices to go to. And I ended up talking to a couple of friends, and we opened up a brokerage together. I was really their brokerage they had set up. I came in to manage it. And we built a brokerage, over the next 5, 7 years. But we got to the point where I really wasn't a full owner of it. I was kind of just running the business for them. And I got to the point where like, I just want to do my own thing. And 8 years ago, I went off and opened up my own brokerage called Links Residential. And the focus was being a paperless office, because at the time that was just starting. And 8 years ago, social media was there, but it wasn't the way it is today. And I understood how to monetize the social media by putting houses out there, taking professional pictures, having floor plans, doing an ad, collecting, information from people, calling them back, like all that I was able to capture. And we were able to build a business. We took 700 square feet in Teaneck 8 years ago. And within a year, we outgrew it. I took 4,000 square feet then in Maywood. And within another year, we kind of outgrew that. And we opened up then in Hoboken. And within 3 years of me opening up, we had 75 agents across 3 offices. And the business just blew up and it was great. But also, it was a lot of a headache and a lot of liability. And running a brokerage is not always the easiest. You have a lot of personalities, you have a lot of deals, you have a lot of buyers and sellers personalities. And I got to a point probably about 3 years ago where I realized this is not the business I wanted to run anymore. So I took a step back, took some time for myself, reevaluated the situation, slowly closed down offices. I closed down my Hoboken office and I went looking for like a better solution than where I was at. And I went to all the big, companies. I went to every franchise. And to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you the difference between any franchise except for the color on the wall behind them. And that was really frustrating to me. Like everyone was like, oh, we got technology, we got marketing, we got this, we got that. I'm like, you're all selling me the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where like, I'm looking more for, I know how to do all this already. I don't need you for that. I need you to help me support the brokerage stuff, which is how I found EXP. And it took me a year plus to really make the transition over because, there's a lot of differences between owning or independent and going to a large brokerage. But EXP I view as a platform. It's a platform for you to deal with all the legalities, the compliance, all the paperwork. Like they deal with all that. In addition, they offer you the best technology, just like every other company does. But they give you the platform to grow a business, right? They're not coming to tell me how to do my business, how I have to do stuff, how things have to look, right? I have to be compliant with state rules, but I have the ability now to run my entire business off a platform across 50 states. I can do the same business, and now I can make it international because they're growing internationally. So for me, as an entrepreneur, it was like, holy crap, this is an opportunity that like I can't turn down. I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to use this platform, and I'm going to grow my business tenfold. And so what we did was I closed down my Maywood office. We got rid of all the agents who weren't really doing any business. I brought my team down to 15 full-time agents who are all producing, and we're building a bigger and better business now with less agents because I'm able to focus on doing more business than running the business. And that's where I'm at today, is that we've been now with EXP 13 or 14 months, and our sales are up. Our services are better than ever. My attention to the agents and their deals and bringing more business is far better than it was in the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it's so funny because the phrase addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Right. It's like when you have the 75 agents, you're babysitting, and the non-producers, it's the same thing in the mortgage business.
Right.
The non-producers are the biggest complainers, right? Because they have so much time on their hands to not focus on their deals because they don't have a lot of deals and they're making excuses. And the ones that are producers are just out there making it happen.
Right.
So it's interesting because with the Velocity of Money, we've moved now into coaching, a paid coaching program.
Right.
It used to be free seminars just to get loans. Now it's, hey, there's so much information that I could offer people. We're paying. But some of the realtors have come to me and said, can I be part of the coaching program? And at first I was like, well, I don't really want to charge realtors, right? Because like they're kind of like my partners. Like I don't want to charge somebody. But so then I'm like, I'm going to offer scholarships. But what would you say the biggest differentiator is, if there's realtors listening, between a successful realtor and a realtor that's struggling? Like, what's the big sort of hump that they have to get over to become a successful realtor?
So to take it from where I came from, right, it's part of it's fear, right? Fear of the unknown, which is what stops 99% of people from doing what they want to do. Like 3-4 years ago, when I started going on this journey to try to figure out what the better game plan was, I had to look at myself. And I went to a lot of seminars. I went to all the marketing, conferences. I was networking with everyone around the country. And the one commonality that I found, right, was if you find your inner happiness, you'll find the path of where you want to go and what you want to do. And 90% of people aren't happy with what they're doing, right? I don't know how you talk to in the mortgage, by you doing their mortgages and loans, but are they really happy at their jobs? Yeah, they might be making a ton of money, but they're not happy with what they're doing. They're not happy with who they are. They're not happy, in where they're living. They're just doing it because that's just the steps in life. So once you find that inner happiness, you're able to get past that fear of the unknown and just follow your path, follow what you want to do. And that's what I've been coaching and training on the last, 2.5, 3 years now, is when I run my masterminds around the country. And when we do our trainings that we do, it's, let's go back to the simpleness of finding the happiness. Like you go to a kid, right? The kids are happy. They don't understand what it means to be unhappy. They're happy people, right? Yes, they might get upset with something that happens, but they're happy. And then over time, I guess through high school and college, right? They're having fun and enjoying, and they get to life and they're like, well, this is not what I want to be doing, right? This is not how I want to be living my life. And it really takes a toll on you. And it goes to that, what you said at the beginning, that subconscious, that if you're not truly happy on the inside, it's hard to be happy on the outside. You may put a smile on your face. You may go do what you need to do, but you're not enjoying, you're not feeling the success of your business. And I think all that just, layers on each other in terms of finding your path of what you want to be doing in life. So with a real estate agent, it's very similar. You need to find what makes you happy, how you want to do things. There is a system that works. You just have to find what works best for you within that system. So making sure that you have, I teach time blocking to agents all over the country. Time blocking, I think, is one of the most important things new agents need to do, where they have to come to work, whatever it's 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever time you want to start, block out half an hour blocks of different things you're going to do, whether it be prospecting, whether it be research on a market, whether it be preparing letters, whether it be making phone calls, right? All those things are different parts of prospecting, but they all need to be done. So if you schedule half an hour for each one, take a half-hour break, go take a walk, go get a coffee, whatever it is, come back, do another, 2 hours of half-hour intervals, you will get more done. And if you plan out your day like that, you will be more successful. The challenge is that most new realtors come into work, hey, I'm ready to work, now what, right? They don't take it seriously. They don't sit down at a desk and say, okay, here's my list of what I need to do today. Here are the 50 calls I need to make. Here are the emails I need to put out there. And that's really where the challenge becomes, is that, if they were willing to do that work, they would succeed. But most people aren't willing to put the work in. They're like, I'm a real estate agent. I'm supposed to be making money. What's going on, right? Where are the leads? Where are this? They rely on others for their business as opposed to relying on themselves. And once you learn to rely on yourself and you focus on yourself and you build that habit of going to work every day and treating it like a job or a lifestyle where you have to be on call at all times, that's where you find the success.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you said at the beginning, right? It's fear. It all starts with fear, because we all, I was a high school football player. I was a professional baseball player. And I'm like, oh, I'm not afraid of anything. right? And so then I go to a seminar 4 years ago at the Mortgage Marketing Animals, this coaching program that I was part of. And Carl White, he's a great guy. And he's standing up in the front of the room. There's about 80 people in the room. And he's like, okay. He's like, we're going to each get on the phone in front of the group and we're going to cold call realtors. In that moment, I was like, holy crap, I don't want to do that right now. Like, and then so I was like, I actually do have fear. I could lie to myself and say I don't, but what new realtors need to do, or new loan officers need to do, or even existing loan officers who want to build their pipeline, is like false evidence that appears real. I always tell my kids that, right? That's what fear stands for. But courage is having fear, but doing it anyway. Like, just get on the phone. Like, it's not that hard. And I guarantee that if you're a realtor or a loan officer and you call your for sale by owners, or you call your expireds, the first day is going to be the hardest day. And then it'll get easier after that. And if you take the concept that every no gets me closer to a yes, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And like you said, with time blocking and habits and patterns, then it's focusing on the daily activity. And next thing you know, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you're 50 calls in. That's what we do on Mondays through our mortgage group, is we call our top 30 realtors to say hello.
Right.
Did you work or did you play? Did you do an open house? Do you have any buyers you need me to pre-approve? What's going on? How's your family? How are your kids? It's not hard. You just have to focus and do it, right? And I agree. Like, the mortgage world is the same thing. Like 95% of it's actually more like 98% of the mortgage people are doing no business. Right. The average loan officer does less than one loan a month in the United States. Right. Now, that's mixed with a lot of part-timers. People have their license but don't really use it. But I don't know who could pay their bills at one loan a month commission. Right? What does the average agent do across the country? Like 3 deals a year?
2 deals a year, I think, is the average. But you have it then, the top producers and the top producing teams around the country who are doing hundreds of millions of dollars of sales every year, because they have systems in place, because they have a plan every day of what they're going to do, right? The 2 things I did to build my business back 20 years ago, or 18 years ago, is I did 2 things. One is I walked up and down the main street in the town I was doing business in. I met every business owner, every manager of every restaurant, and I would do it every single week. I blocked out time, and then I didn't even know what time blocking was, right? I just like, what? I'm going to go meet people because I hate sitting in the office. And I walked up and down the main road. I walked into every restaurant. I walked into everything, and I introduced myself, and we spoke about it. I knew everything about their families and their kids and their business and how things were going and what sale they were having. And they're going to do a coupon, and they wanted my opinion. And we built relationships, right? And those relationships then turned into like, hey, you're new in town. You stopped for a bite to eat. You're looking for a house. Oh, call my buddy Mark, because like he's the realtor in town. Like, he's the one who comes by. Like, and that gave me 10, 12 leads every year. It wasn't a lot walking up and down, but 10, 12 leads a year turned into repeat business. Families. I had families where I did 4 or 5 deals over 5 years, because each brother and sister bought into the family and they used me, right? So that was a big deal, like meeting people, networking. And again, I wasn't going there asking for business. I was going there to say, hey, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Right. And that turned into them giving me leads. And the second thing I did is I accidentally got an estate sale from someone who passed away. So I was dealing with this estate attorney, and they needed like all this paperwork. They needed like a market analysis at the time of death, and they needed a market analysis now, and they needed all this stuff for the estate in order for them to process, and close out the estate and taxes and all this stuff. And when I closed out that first deal, which again was an easy deal because again, they just want to sell the house, I realized there was a service needed for these estate attorneys, because they just need someone to give them the paperwork they need. They don't need any BS. They don't need any, well, it could be worth this. They just want to know what the house is worth now, want to know what the house was worth at the time of death so they can give it to the accountant. And I marketed myself to estate attorneys. I got about 6 or 7 of them that were giving me business on a regular basis, right? So now I was getting listings that turned into now tons of buyers coming out. And I turned those buyer leads into not selling them the house I had for sale, but other houses. Yeah. So it kind of just, in 2005, 6, 7, just kind of progressed, and the market was going up. And my business blew up and grew to the point where I was finding tremendous success in there, right? And then we hit 2008. Then 2008, where like, the market crashed, right? Everyone was like, oh, worried about the market. Well, 2009 was my best year ever, right? 2009, people just wanted someone responsive who knew the market to get the stuff sold as quickly as possible, because they haven't paid their mortgage in 6 months, or they haven't done anything else. And that's where I realized it doesn't matter about anything else you do except giving the best service, giving communication, right? Communication guaranteed to your clients, right? If they hear from you on a regular basis, They're going to want to use you and they're going to refer you, right? If you call people with an update on their mortgage twice a week, once a week, whatever it's going to be, they know you're on top of things. They don't have to call you for it. So learning that valuable lesson in 2008 and 9 helped me build my business even greater. So there's a lot of things you can do. The agents need to want to do it and need to show up every day. But a lot of agents don't. And that's really where the challenge is that, I train and my team trains other agents around the country. We work for other brokers, independent brokers. We help them is get their agents to focus on showing up every day and doing the work. Because if they're not showing up every day doing the work, then it's a part-time job. And then they're not going to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny? I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to remember. I think we met in your office. It might have been 2015, maybe 2014. And you said something to me that I remembered and it helped me in my business was that realtors and for a lot of reasons, loan officers, we've become project managers, right? Where the information is plentiful out on the web and everything like that. We become project managers. So I remember you said that to me.
Yep.
We didn't really do much business at that point, but I took that home and I said, you know what? It's all about the customer journey, right? If you guys project manage and make sure the attorneys are working and the loan officers get the commitment on time and the appraisals being done and you're sort of gathering that project, the customer journey becomes a good one. And then for us, that's exactly what we do. We call all parties that are part of the transaction every Tuesday or Wednesday with an update. So, hey, Mark, just want to let you know, appraisal's been ordered, following week, commitment's in, here you go. And we call the client, and important is we call the client and their spouse. Because sometimes, I know in my marriage, I do this wrong sometimes. I forget to tell my wife things. So we call the husband and we call the wife for an update. A lot of times the wife has more questions than the husband. Like, oh, yeah, okay, well, what is it? The husband's like, oh, I'm happy I got an approval. The wife's like, okay, give me the details. But we call all parties because, number one, if a realtor calls us and says, hey, what's up? Where's the commitment? Then we've already done something wrong because we haven't kept them updated. And number two, the clients, everybody that borrows money, everybody, I don't care if they make $4 million a year, everybody that borrows money and gets a mortgage and is buying a piece of real estate feels insecure at some point during that process. If we make them feel secure, then we're helping them along the journey. And I always say, hey, once we get you closed, make sure you invite us to the barbecue next summer. We'll bring the Corona Light. Because the American dream, right? Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter whether you're from another country or from New Jersey or California. It doesn't matter. The American dream is the house and the white picket fence. And we want to help them on that journey. Everybody, you talk about 2008, 9, everybody's still freaked out because they think it's hard to get loans because they remember what happened in 2008 and 9. It's not hard to get loans. Yeah, you have to work. You have to have a job and or be self-employed and prove a little income. But it's actually not hard to get loans. It's just some people, go to their accountant and say, I don't want to pay any taxes. And then they show no income and then they wonder why they can't get a loan. So I always make the argument listen, if you want to make the government your partner, right? You want to get a government loan at 3%. You got to kind of pay your taxes. That's just kind of how it works.
Right.
So,
but project management is actually our secret on how to secure listings, right? When you go into a seller, right? Everyone's going in there. Every agent that they're going to interview is like, I'm going to sell this house for you. I'm going to do this. Right? We go in there as that we're a project manager, and here's a list of 100 things we're going to do for you, right? And we're going to describe each one and what we're doing, right? And this is why we're going to get our success fee of 5 or 6%, right? And then all of a sudden the seller's like, you made more sense than any other realtor we've spoken to, right? So most of the time, unless they have a previous relationship with another agent, our agents are securing the listings because of that point. And agents need to look at themselves as project managers, and most of them don't. They're like, oh, I put a house on the MLS and hope it sells. Well, you're not merchandising the house. You're not putting ads out there. You're not making sure that people are, understand what the value of this house is, right? So all these things are what we do as project managers and to create a sale. And then even after the sale, there's all this other work, post work that needs to get done. So, that's really our secret in doing stuff. And I share that with everyone because people who want to succeed need to be in the right mindset. And if you go into a conversation being in the right mindset, most of the time you're going to be able to be successful.
That's awesome. It's funny that you just explained that because I was about to ask you, out of the 15 agents you have now, what makes you guys different and special? because we all struggle with that, right? Like if we're being treated like a commodity or you guys are being treated like a commodity, well, why does somebody want to do business with us? I go by education, education, education. I'll teach them about how to get every loan, how to buy out mortgage insurance, how to get the best interest rate. We do all that stuff for them. But what makes you and your agents different and better? Obviously, you just mentioned one of them with the listings.
Right. So we set up our team in a way where the agent's focus is to service the client. Whatever the client needs, whether it be a buyer or seller, our agent's focus is that. We've created a team where we have operations, we have transaction coordinator for paperwork, we have a social media marketing person, we have an in-house graphic designer, right? All the stuff that takes up all these realtors' time that they may not know how to do, right? We have set up a system in our office to provide that to the agents who are on our team so that they can focus their time and energy on servicing the client, which is what their job is, the project manager, right? And the project manager always has people that they delegate to. So we have that entire thing that, instead of having a realtor who has an assistant, right? We have a realtor who has a team behind them. So when you go into a seller and say, you're getting me, but you're also getting, here's my team of people, and you list them all out and what they do, they're like, yeah, you're getting me as a point person, but this is what's going on. And people love to hear that because they know that, that a realtor may not be pulled in 100 different directions. But if we know that all the behind the scenes work is being taken care of, the agent can really focus on getting that house sold, making sure the buyers know what's the value there, negotiating the deal, dealing with all the odds and ends that come up with inspections and title and all that stuff, and get it to closing. So that's why we've built it. And that's why I'm very selective of who joins our team now at this point, because if you don't have that mindset, like, go work somewhere else. I don't need everyone in my office anymore. I did that already once. It doesn't matter to me. I need people on my team who want to be here, who want to be successful, who are going to follow the methods that are put in place and go out there and talk to people and get deals. And that's what it comes down to, is just going out there and doing the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's tremendous. And I know firsthand, because I have dealt with many, many realtors over the years, that there's good realtors and then there's not so good realtors. And the good ones clearly help that client with that experience. And then you can help their family, you can help their friends, and that makes a huge difference. The make or break, I love when someone says to me, oh, that person's fee is 0.5% lower. And I'm like, listen, if they don't negotiate the deal right for you, or they don't ensure that deal gets to closing, then you have nothing, right? Yeah. So the 0.5 point doesn't help you if they're not the right quality. Same with attorneys. Same with, sometimes I'll lose deals. Well, not often, but like every now and then in my career. Oh, that guy's fee is $300. I'm like, if what I've just taught you isn't worth $3,000 or $5,000, then you're not seeing it the right way, because there's a huge value in organizations like yours and organizations like mine, which have the right professionals to get people to the promised land, which is the closing table.
Right.
One last question was territories. What areas do you primarily work in, and is it Bergen? Is it all of North Jersey? Give me some territories that you can help people.
So we mainly focus on Bergen County. We've been now expanding our team. I grew up in Central Jersey, so we just took on an agent down there who is a newer agent, but again, following the systems, getting listings, getting buyers. So we're now servicing anywhere from like Toms River all the way up to Bergen County. So we've done some Monmouth, we've done a bunch of Central Jersey. I grew up in Highland Park, so Highland Park, Edison, I know very well. East Brunswick, New Brunswick, and then all the way up to North Jersey. So we have people and partners throughout who are on our systems, and again, we're building now because we're the EXP. Like, I have partners around the country that I deal with. So like, we get calls, from people in. I got a call from someone in Atlanta 2 months ago, and I hooked them up with a realtor there because they knew me from all what I do, and they see what I'm doing on social media, right? And they're like, I want someone like that. So I went to my group of people in the network, and I found the right person, and they listed and sold the house within 3 weeks. And it was done properly, right? There was no question that things weren't done properly. So hooking up with the right realtor is super important. We focus on New Jersey, Central and North New Jersey, but we really can help you anywhere in the country as long as you want to find the right person.
Yeah, the XP network is gigantic, and you're at the top of the hierarchy there in the organization. So you certainly can help somebody in Omaha, Nebraska, right, by finding top EXP agent out there. And I love the culture. I actually saw an EXP presentation, might have been 5 years ago already, in Naples, Florida. And I said to my wife, you should go get your real estate license, because like this is a model that I could see. And we have 5 kids, so she never did that.
Right.
It's an overwhelming situation at home. So, but I love the model. And
Model's great. Listen, it's one of the best platforms out there in terms of how to operate a business, and they give you a lot of opportunity to make money and a lot of opportunity to do more deals. And their technology is just as good as anyone else's, right? Everyone has similar technologies these days. There's no true tech business out there. Like Compass was, touting themselves as a tech company, but at the end of the day, if you look at their numbers, they're the same percentage of Realogy in terms of profitability based on agency. So
Right.
at the end of the day, this really, after researching every office out there, every company out there, I was very analytical. This really is the best platform to build a real estate business on, both for agents and for team leaders. And if anyone wants to talk about that, I'm always happy to talk about it. But you have to want to take your business to the next level, right? No one cares anymore, right? This is a big thing. No one cares what sign is in front of the house, whether it's red or blue or green or purple. Like, no one cares what sign's in front of the house. They want to hire agents that have the right team support, the right, services behind them. Like, that's what it comes down to. So you take an agent at any company who's successful, they'll be successful at any company. They're not successful because of that company. They're successful because they're doing the right thing for clients, right? So why not be on a platform where you can make more money, where you can have access to a network of agents and team leaders around the country that all they want to do is help you build more business. And there might be something I'm a specialty in that someone else isn't. He might be doing more business than I do, but he doesn't know this aspect of the business. We all help each other out. We all do masterminds together. We all jump on calls weekly to share information. And so I'm able to build a better business now because of that. And so if anyone wants to build with me, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I love it. And the mortgage business is going more to digital platforms as well. There's this whole fintech model, and borrowers are going to be able to, the millennials, especially first time home buyers, the millennial crowd wants more of a digital experience. They like technology. I do believe that education is still going to be very important for guys like me and you and our teams, so we can educate the people. But then from the perspective of getting a loan approved, closed, or whatever, they like that digital experience because they feel like it's more secure and they have more control. So I think organizations like ours, EXP, kind of the things I'm doing, which are at the forefront of that, coupled with education, will make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about, partnering up with guys like you and EXP. And, I do stuff with Brett and Dave and Sekou and, a lot of the great teams here in North Jersey that are part of EXP.
Right.
And so in closing, tell us how everybody can get in touch with you. Jasmine's really fancy. She'll put it on the screen. So email, phone number.
Yeah. So, the best way to get in touch with me is my cell phone, 201-522-9733. But reach out to me on social media. I'm Mark the Misfit on Instagram. I deal with tons of messages a day for people on there, so feel free. It's MARC the Misfit. So that's really the best way to get in touch with me, or you can find me on Facebook. I'll communicate any which way you want, but give me a call, shoot me a text, let's get on the phone. Let's see what we can do together. Let's see how we can help each other and go from there.
Awesome. There you go. And we're at, what are we doing, Jazz? hello@velocityofmoney.com. And Mark's at Mark the Misfit. I like that one. That's funny.
Again, what is a misfit? A misfit doesn't fit into any category, right?
Yeah.
They don't fit into any specific. They do their own thing, and like everyone looks at them as like what are you doing? Like they're crazy. So it's the crazy ones though that change the world. So let's all be a little crazy. Let's all be a misfit. Let's all do what's best to change things, make things better for everyone else, make things better for our kids and our next generation.
Well, I think you and I have one major thing in common, and that's we're both unemployable. Right? Like I worked at Wells Fargo as a branch manager in 2008. I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
Like working in a big corporation was horrible for me because we can't be put in a box, right? But with that, we have entrepreneurial ideas, we help people, and we are making a difference already, right? And that's the butterfly effect, but it grows every day. I love to put people in homes, get them on their journey. I know you do too. And we're having fun while we're doing it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, brother. It was great
Thanks for
spending
having
time
me.
with you.
It was great.
And I will see you soon.
Looking forward to it.
All right. God
Thanks,
bless everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.